We are blowing up this session. The session's over. The session's over, and it's on your terms, because the terms were made clear to you for the last 4 to 6 weeks. And you ignored that. You didn't care. Hating trans kids in Nebraska is more important to you than the rest of this entire session, and that message is received loud and clear. Senator Jacobson, nobody wanted to talk about his little amendment. Well, we're never going to get to your amendment, Senator Jacobson. We're never going to get to your hateful, bigoted amendment on your hateful, bigoted bill, because it's not going to come up because the session's over and we're blowing up every single bill. How could you do that? That's not what my constituents want. We told you over 6 weeks ago this was happening. You had 100 opportunities to act different, to deal, to negotiate. The numbers of meetings we had over the weekend, people calling us, constituents calling, going, how can we support you? You must be exhausted. How can we help you stand up for LGBTQ youth in the community in Nebraska? They're right, we're exhausted trying to negotiate with you when you're not bringing anything to the table. So don't blame this on anybody but yourselves. It's not Senator Michaela Cavanaugh's fault. It's not my fault. It's not Senator Conrad's fault. It's not Senator Day's fault. It's nobody but your own, because the terms were made completely, explicitly clear to you, and you supported that bigoted bill anyway. I came in here thinking the whole session was going to be about abortion. That's what I was expecting over the past year. You know, when we defeated the abortion ban last year, that blew everybody's minds, mine included. I can't believe we did that in Nebraska. I was very proud. And when we didn't have a special session to ban abortion, I was very proud of that. I thought that there's no way that Senator Pete Ricketts would leave the governorship without getting that done for his state, but he did. And that was a massive win to me. And we expected at least one type of abortion ban to be introduced this year, and at least one was. And I think I and a lot of my like-minded colleagues in the legislature, I won't say Democrats because it doesn't work that way here, we all thought that that would take up most of the oxygen this session, and all of the mental, intellectual calisthenics I was doing over the interim and leading up until we came into session in January was to prepare for that. But I was completely wrong. It's the ban on trans health care that's taking up all the oxygen this session. Senator Jacobson brought up that this started with Committee on Committees. Yeah, it did. And you know what, Senator Jacobson, you were part of the problem then too, because you were on Committee on Committees, and when we were sitting in that hearing room figuring out who's going where, you admitted in front of God and everybody that you never even looked at anybody's preference sheet. That is the evidence and the proof right there in one sentence that you said that we are not thinking critically or independently about the gravity of the responsibility we have in this body. You're taking marching orders from day one. You don't need to look at the preference sheets, Senator Jacobson, because you already know who's supposed to go where on these committees. So we can crack them and pack them.
1 minute.
Bring out all of the different bills that we want to bring out. And then when people oppose that, then you change the rules. You guys can't stand to be uncomfortable for 1 minute. And you did get to speak on the trans health care ban. You all spoke, and you said very hateful, you said very untrue, literally medical misinformation. And then calls to the suicide hotline in Nebraska of trans youth skyrocketed that day. That's on you. One of you needed to be not voting, and you couldn't have the courage to do that. Some of you are trying to bring a spreadsheet to a knife fight. This isn't an intellectual, psychological, theoretical exercise about rules are and aren't. This is a fight for human rights that are hanging by a thread in this state, and the session is over. Thank you, Mr. President.